Okay. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم لا إله إلا أنت سبحانك إني كنت من الظالمين حسبي الله لا إله إلا هو عليه توكلت وهو رب العرش العظيم لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم وصلى اللهم على محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه وأتباعه وسلم ربنا اغفر لنا وارحمنا وأنت خير الراحمين آمين الحمد لله رب العالمين. I think we had a hard time last week, so this week I'm hoping that it won't be that much hard, but of course we need to go through certain change in our understanding, otherwise we cannot solve the problems, because the problems rise from our previous understandings which have no reality, just general perceptions, just going by our general perceptions. But we have to question ourselves, we have to learn how to question ourselves. So today, just very quickly, I wanted to make a recap. One is movement means, practically speaking, change from our perspective. We always have to make the difference between from our perspective, from Creator's perspective. So we are speaking from Christ. What we see here from our perspective, we see movement. And movement means change. Change means time. That's what we see, time. So if someone says space-wise, time-wise, definitely we are aware that this person is speaking from human perspective and not really precise, because we cannot see time independently from space. We cannot really see space independently from time, because universe is the space-time universe as we see it. You cannot see independent things. For example, these are a pair of glasses. This is a pair of glasses, and this is a laptop, separate. Or this is a tree, and this is a cat, for example. There is no such thing as far as the existence is concerned. Existence is one essence, one thing. From one aspect, as far as the human experience is concerned, from one aspect, it's as far as human perception of the existence is concerned, it seems to be space. From another aspect, as far as, again, our perception is concerned, it seems to be time. In reality, we cannot make the distinction. Everybody nowadays, those people who are into the subject, understand this. So we have to get used to it. We cannot speak separately. But in our practical life, we always speak time-wise or space-wise. But these are all based on our expectations. You know, I said I'm going to somewhere else today after the class, but I cannot make sure because it doesn't exist. As soon as it exists, it is the reality, and when it exists with its time and space together. We cannot separate it, right? So, speaking from our perspective. So, from Christian's perspective, referring to the previous example, this one, well, from this previous example, this is just one example. I mean, it doesn't explain everything. It's just a symbolic explanation of it. So, train is moving, which means, for us, static space seems to be changing its place. Do you understand? As if there's a train here and it's moving. In reality, there is no static train, but there is only moving train. But if you have a wider perspective, you will say even the train, according to our concepts, is not moving. Train is moving because it is subject to change. I'm doing that. What are you doing? I'm changing. It's because I'm moving, not the changing my clothes. My existence is changing, so I'm moving. Why? Because my existence is moving, changing. That is the problem that we are not really into, clearly, comfortably. So if I am moving in the train, it doesn't matter. My location is changing, but I am moving anyways. Okay, so the train is moving, static, that means for my perception, static space seems to be changing in its place, We call it time. We call this time. Look, train is coming, for example, we say. Or train will be coming in an hour. We use this language. Okay. Conscious creatures can discern that the universe exists within space-time. It means when we use our human consciousness and concentrate on the existence in itself, we understand that everything exists with no exception, space-time. With no exception. We have to make sure of our understanding of existence. So we conclude from there, from this perception, understanding, the universe is being created within space and time simultaneously. It means you cannot, again, separate from each other. Yeah. Do we understand that we cannot really speak about space? Now, this question, do you understand question that does not include Egyptians? Sorry. Yeah, please.
We keep on going back and forth. The universe, before we said that time doesn't exist, like tomorrow doesn't exist, and it's being created. And then last time we said that that's from our point of view, but from the point of view of the creator, well, we shouldn't even say from the point of view of the creator, but we said last time that everything already exists. Space-time, tomorrow already exists. And now you're saying...
Where tomorrow exists? From my perspective?
No.
Okay. We don't know. But what we understand...
But so when you say here that the universe is being created within space and time simultaneously, you're still talking about our perspective.
Yeah. Okay. From creature's perspective.
Okay.
Now let's go ahead. No, it is another. This first sentence itself is an human, if you like, conclusion. If you don't agree with this, there is no need to talk further. Which means nothing can be creator of itself. So we have to understand that. We have to be comfortable with it. Not because we are believers. No. As a human being, nothing can be the creator of itself. Why? It is logically a contradiction. But how can I create myself? Because in order to create myself, I have to exist. If I exist, why do I need to create myself? It is oxymoron. Yeah? The things that, for example, the universe exists by itself is oxymoron. But are you joking? So, if nothing can create itself in this universe, in these conditions, so the universe needs exists, so it needs to exist because it needs a creator who will bring it into existence. So as far as this kind of universe, this kind of creation is concerned, that we say that this is the creation we are observing in this universe, experiencing in this universe, and related to our consciousness within the capacity of our perception, which is created, existed, and given existence, then anything in this universe must have an factor or an agent which will give existence to the things that we experience here, because they are not self-subsistent beings. They are subject to continuous change. They are subject to the order in which they are existing. They are subject to something. That's called, in the language, they are dependent for their existence. If something is dependent for its existence, it needs an agent to give it an existence. An agent. It is logically necessary. So if I say, but somebody may say God exists, so it must have an agent. In this universe, dependent, subject to space-time limitations, space-time, and continuously being subject to change is extra. Space-time limitations, dependent, and I have to say, I conclude that this object, or whatever, maybe an atom, or maybe the whole universe, doesn't matter, needs to be brought into existence. So we have to understand that nothing can be the creator of itself in this universe, because the universe is dependent. Everything is dependent. Everything is subject to the order of the existence. I cannot be as I want. I am subject to as I am made. I cannot have 2, 3 ears. And they say the ladies have 4 ears. But I cannot have it. 2 ears, they see the front. The other 2, they see who's following them. So that's what they say. So the cause of existence of a thing cannot be the same nature of the thing itself. These are principles. We have to study that. The cause of existence of a thing cannot be the same nature of the thing itself. It means, in reality, have you noticed that? This is the repetition of the first sentence. Have you noticed? Have you realized? It means nothing can be the creator of itself. But there's a further explanation. If I look for a cause of my own existence, I cannot delineate or assign my existence to something of my own nature. It means subject to space-time. I cannot do it. It is illogical. Do you understand that? Somebody looks a bit puzzled. Do you? Okay, needs digestion. Of course, when you eat the food, you have to rest and wait for some time to digest. So, the third one, the creator of a thing cannot, but the creator of a thing cannot be subject to space-time by definition, because will be dependent. Anything dependent, it cannot be the creator of anything. But we say, the architects are creating the projects, the blueprints. They are not creating, they are using their given abilities, combining memories, etc., and then giving a new shape within the given elements. they are not giving existence to anything out of non-existence. So transforming using the already given elements. So we can say, we have to understand this, the creator of a thing cannot be subject to space, or we can further go back to the beginning. The creator of a thing cannot be the same nature of the thing itself. The same thing. Do we understand that? Do we? No? Yes? Yes. Yeah, but if you don't, because we cannot go further, conclusion. The creator must be absolute with all of its qualities. It may seem to be a quick jump, but in reality, what absolute is? What is absolute? Is not absolute is that which is not limited, or of the nature of space and time, or this world. But what I did say, what I did not say. Let's talk about this. What I did say, the absolute, the absolute cannot be the nature of space and time, space-time existence. So it means absolute cannot be dependent. Absolute cannot be dependent. What I said this, but I didn't say, be careful here, be careful, watch out. Absolute is out of the universe. We use this expression a lot. God is outside of the universe. But outside is what? Space. Outside of something is another space. Outside of this house, outside of this universe is locating a space. So we have to be careful. The creator is outside. Are you sending the creator or deporting the creator from our country of universe? No, it is ridiculous. It doesn't make sense. We have to be careful when we use this kind of languages. But what we can say, God cannot be of the nature of anything which is subject to space-time. Right? Right?
I have a question. How did we jump from nothing can be a creator of itself to the creator of a thing cannot be subject to space and time? How did we get that?
How do we jump from nothing can be the creator of itself to the creator must be absolute? Yeah. So it was my mistake. I should have written one more sentence here. Anything which is subject to space-time cannot be independent. So we can understand only, we can only speak of God in reality, with the negative adjectives. In reality, not finite, not subject to space and time, not subject to change, not dependent. Why? Because I can see the dependent ones. I can observe the things which are subject to space and time. I can see the finite things here. I can use the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. Always say +1, +1, +1. Yeah, I can see them. So by using the elements, that's very important in if you want to understand oneness of God. It's called Tawheed in the Quranic language. Wahdah or Ahad, Ahadiyya or Ahad, God being one, absolute. Always we have to go from what we observe, what we see. So if someone doesn't say, we keep saying this, and it is absolutely necessary to repeat it. If someone doesn't say La ilaha, this person cannot say illallah, because illallah will have no base for him, for this person. So why do we say la ilaha? Because we say the finite things, the dependent things, anything subject to space-time, anything subject to change, cannot be the creator of anything, cannot bring anything into existence, because they need to be created. When they are created, they are created creatures. Creatures cannot be the creator, because my mind is searching for the creator. So I can see that, and I can comfortably conclude that finite, anything subject to space-time and dependent beings cannot be the creator. So the creator, by definition, is the one who gives existence to these things and should not have the same nature as the created being. So the creator must be independent. Creator must be not subject to space-time. Creator must be not subject to change. Creator must be infinite, not finite, in any form of finite. So the one problem, if there is mathematicians among us, the one problem in mathematics, I understand now, and studying more mathematics than anything else nowadays. So if someone says, you know, any number you can add +1. Until where? Until infinity. So they say we can see the infinity here by seeing and understanding that there is no end adding to any number +1. So mathematically speaking, they say this is, the numbers are infinite, they say. But we studied that the universe is curved. It was a purpose, there was a purpose. Why have we emphasized on the importance of the universe being in a curve? It means universe circulates within itself, cannot go out. So what do you do? If whatever the number you write, you put plus, you put plus, you put plus, you put plus. What do? You come back to the beginning. It means 0. Come back to the beginning again. And start again. 0 plus 1 is 1, and then 1 plus 1 is 2. It means you go, but you don't go into infinity. You circulate within finite universe. That was very important. So I can say, you know, we are going, but hopefully one day we will come to the end. No, you can, because you cannot go out of being created. That's the nature of creation. So when you understand this comfortably, you understand that whatever you imagine in this world is in reality, though may seem to be infinite, but in reality finite. So anything which is finite cannot be the creator of anything else. But we know that the universe is in existence, and we are looking for the agent of this existing universe. So we conclude that the creator, the agent of this universe to come into existence must be absolute infinite. Yeah? Absolute infinite, not relative infinite. You know, that relative infinite. They speak about it, but they don't say relative infinite in mathematics, but in physics they say relative. That's relative.
The first statement, nothing can be the creator of itself. Is this by your observation, or is it by just logic?
So it is both. It means observation is done through your human abilities. It is, if you like, within my own created nature. Now, I, as a person, as I am, cannot say that something can be the creator of itself. As I am. What we said, whatever we conclude, how much religious you can be, or you have a great faith, whatever it is, yeah, it must be consistent within yourself. Otherwise, it is not yours. It must be, but if something, if any faith, any belief, any religion, anything is not consistent within yourself, it must be external to you. If anything is external to you, it is not your conclusion, your belief. It is ordered from somebody else. You know, I don't know how to make the computer. Somebody makes it and I buy it. I order it and they send it to me. You can order your religion from others as well. It is a purchased religion. It is not your conclusion. Yeah, so good. Can we go further?
You mentioned earlier that someone who doesn't, I guess, creating nothing from existence essentially makes you absolute or not bound or whatever. But we have the example of like Gabriel in your Gabriel W.
Sorry, what?
Give an example of Angel Gabriel W. Like as a roh into the spirit, whatever, into Maryam. Womb, it wasn't there. I mean, there was a. I mean, I'm trying to say there's a creation involved there.
You are bringing hundreds of questions. What do you mean by Gabriel? What do you mean by angel? What do you mean by the word? What do you mean by bringing the word? What do you mean by, how do you say, in putting the word into something? These are matters to be studied, I think, 20 years later. It's not a simple thing.
Okay, but I'm thinking that logic is for. We know Angel Gabriel is not, finite. I mean, it's not infinite. Because
anything, if it is in the universe, yes, it is not.
However, he was able to spark a creation. I mean,
excuse me, brother. We have to study how to believe in angels. What does believing in angels mean? You know, so if you don't really study that, yeah, well, what you are doing, what we will be doing, if I try to answer your question, because your understanding of an angel is borrowed from your grandmother.
No,
so it needs to be really well defined. I'm not accusing you, because we don't. Do we agree what we understand from angels? I don't know. Sorry, I don't know. I don't know. So because when you just bring the word angel, the word Gabriel or angel, into this subject, it means you are bringing. If I do the same thing, I am bringing my understanding of angel into the subject. But we don't know what we understand. That's why we are establishing the foundations here. When we say God, for example, we are trying to establish a kind of common base, so that when I say God, when you say God, you will say, oh yeah, this one, all the studies we did, and then we say the absolute one, which cannot be describable within the conditions or within the qualities of this universe at all, but he is the agent in the existence of this universe, and this agent cannot be given any quality or attributed any quality which is within this universe. So we are establishing, if you like, common foundations between you and me here about God. Just so very foundation. But if you bring another subject here, we have to study that and have a common concept about it, or commonly agreed, a concept which has commonly agreed notion in it, meaning in it, if you like. So we cannot discuss like this. So actually, I'm good. Yes. Actually, we should be very careful not to skip the steps. All right? That's the first step. And then we have to study another year what angels are. It's not easy. Of course, it's not easy. It doesn't mean impossible, because we have to redefine everything. Because get rid of our previous concepts, which are accepted without any reason. Okay? Now, your turn.
Yes. I would like to make a comment. For the past 3 classes, I've been thinking why it's so difficult for us to understand this, and our human abilities are limited. So to say absolute, I can really not grasp the concept, because only Allah can grasp that concept, and I should accept to a point that I'm not going to understand everything. I cannot understand the concept of space and time, because I'm gonna die in a very short period of time within a very small space. So how could I understand the whole concept? And Allah's having all the qualities when I am so limited.
If you lived 1 billion years,
Still,
would you be able to understand the absolute? So what does it mean? Not because your lifespan is short, not because your abilities are limited, because you are created. Even you live 1 hour or 1 trillion years, you will never grasp what absolute is. What we are doing here, we are defining what absolute is not. Do you understand that? So your lifespan is not important. So don't bring your limitedness into discussion in order to understand the absolute. What you cannot understand with your limited qualities, that absolute is not within the perception of any creatures. But you can understand that? That's what we have to say, La ilaha. Yeah, it is nothing to do with limitedness. Be careful here. We have to redefine or refine our concepts by saying not limited at all, but created. The nature is different. Anything with 2 dimensions cannot be 3-dimensional object. No. 2 dimension. Cannot imagine and comprehend an object which has 3 dimensions. Because this thing is small, the 2-dimensional object is small. Right. So I think I know you from Istanbul. Yeah, just a minute. Then Supi. Yeah, welcome. So, you are subject to change, I think. Like we are studying, as I have changed, you have changed. But your image is still preserved. So although you are subject, but that's why God is the creator, but at the same time, Hafiz protects the blueprint. So I couldn't remember. It's okay. So
when we say that the cause of existence of a thing cannot be the same nature of the thing itself, how do you interpret the Quran or a hadith in where, for example, God creates man in His image, or God's hand, for example. When I understand that they could be metaphorical, but then just the reference of saying something like God saying God's hand, because of our limited abilities to understand, why put us in a position where people start questioning hand? What hand? God has a hand.
No.
Then He is similar to us in one way or another.
No. Now let me complete this. And just smoothly move into your question. So an object which have two dimensions, okay, let's say a piece of paper, for example, cannot, as a paper, cannot have three-dimensional existence, not because it is small. Do we understand this? Not because it is limited. Two-dimensional object is two-dimensional objective. Even if you say it is as small as a one, I don't know, square feet or inch, 1 inch inside all sides, or covers all the world, still two-dimensional. That's what we have to understand. So in order to understand the metaphoric explanations in any kind of language, not necessarily only in the scriptures, anywhere, even in human relationship, yeah, you understand that we use a lot of metaphoric explanations and language. So the nature of this kind of metaphor to be understood with one condition. This condition is, or lies in the definition of the Quran. What is the Quran? Just give me a minute.
The word of Allah.
The word of
Allah. Our creator.
I understand my creator. I don't understand Allah, so I understand my creator for the moment, for the sake of really following the reasonable steps. So my creator is speaking to me. So what I expect from my creator to speak to me at my level. So in order for God to speak to me at my level, it must speak to me with the elements, with the objects which I am familiar with. Do you understand? That's why when he uses the language, he must say the mountain, the hand, the head, the hair, and I don't know, the buildings. Otherwise, it can't be a guidance for me, because he's speaking to me with the evidence which is not within the scope of my experience
And knowledge.
Capacity of knowledge. So he has to speak to me within my own capacity. And this capacity is limited with space-time. That's what we have been studying. So God definitely will say, hand, because I know hand. But when as I am going from the things, or the things coming to the absolute, the word absolute, so hand is a thing. From this metaphor, from this example, I have to conclude about absolute. So I can refer it by negating it. Only. Negating it means, yeah, for example, God says, I exist. God says, I exist. So, referring to himself, because absolute, yeah, is speaking to me with the word that I know, and I use it with the space-time universe. Exists. Tree exists. Human beings exist. Air molecules exist. Right? Speaking with here. So when the scripture says, let's make it clear, God exists, it means absolute exists, but it exists not the way you know, because it is the creator's existence I have to understand. For example, God says, I created human beings in my image. In many traditions, or Islamic traditions also, this is used. Some people say that this is blasphemous, we don't take notice of this kind of argument here. And we have to understand what it means. I am created in God's image. It doesn't mean that I cannot be absolute. And God cannot be also limited or created by definition. So I have given the ability to know God exactly with His all qualities. All my human qualities are pointing to His qualities, nothing to do with similarity. It is ridiculous. It contradicts what the definition of speech of God is. So when we understand from the definition, we go further with no problem. So, one step ahead. Let's say it. Oh, I promised you two things. Not two things. One thing which it has two elements. What is the difference between divine determining and predetermination? Or determining, doesn't matter. Without reading this, do you see this, now understand the difference? Straight away. One of them says predetermination. Whose language is it? Pre. Post. Now, then, today, tomorrow, anybody who's subject to time. So let's study now. I think it's not difficult to understand that. So divine determining, whatever exists is determined by the creator of the space-time universe. Now, if you like, we are putting one leg into the subject of divine determining now. Now, but it is easy. We can understand now because we have been. This is the fifth or sixth section, isn't it? Sixth. Yeah. So, how it is easy now to understand? When I say divine determining, whatever exists is determined by the creator of space-time universe. I have to say divine, I'm speaking. It means not subject to space-time. It means absolute. Okay, we cannot talk about the creator in terms of pre or past. I don't remember. I have wrote this. I have written that, but it is there. But it is included now in our explanation. How about predetermination? Predetermination from human perspective, who is part of the space-time universe. So when I say, when I did this, what am I saying? I'm speaking within the space-time dimension. How God does not something, speaking from God's perspective, absolute. So don't confuse, don't mix up, don't jump. So if a question comes, if you have a question in your mind, write it down. Any question concerning the predetermination or divine determining. So write it down. See if this question sentence has any contradiction in it, combining God's perspective and human perspective, jumping from one into another. If God knew before I did, just a minute. If God knew, it is not within space-time dimension. I did, it is subject to space-time dimension, because you did here. So what are you doing? This is a false question. It means it has its own contradiction within itself. So most of the problems derives from this jumping from absolute into created and mixing them up, sometimes taking the created things to the realm of existence of absolute, sometimes taking the qualities of the realm of absolute into the realm of created beings. All the confusions mostly come from that. So we have to establish this. So be careful not to confuse. This is extra information. Okay. Now, let's go, oh, just a minute. Now, I have written some notes here. It doesn't show it here. Shall I read my notes? Yeah? But slowly I will read it, and I will ask Ihab and some others to repeat it. So,
Now you want me to tell. Right?
yeah, trust me. You are careful. So, divine determining, be careful, divine determining doesn't determine our choices, right? No, doesn't determine my choices. Divine determining. What is it doing then? He knows, he, who is he? Divine, the absolute. He knows. When I say knows, what did I say? Not subjected to space-time. It means absolute. All-encompassing. Not limited with before, after, etc. He knows my choice by his absolute knowledge. Now, I'm speaking from, if you like, God's perspective, or from the realm of absolute existence. He determines the creation of the space-time universe. Look, does he determine? Who decided that I will have two hands? Who? My mother. Who decided? My cells. Who decided that I will have two hands and 5 fingers? Whoever created? Say, carry on. Whoever created?
You.
Us.
Carry on. Carry on.
Universe.
Whole space-time universe. Whoever created, gave existence to the whole space-time universe, determined the creation of space-time universe, like he determined my hands, according to his absolute knowledge. Yeah, but absolute knowledge, be careful, don't say before, after, absolute knowledge. Yeah, there's no period, there is no post or after. So according to absolute knowledge, encompassing, look, be careful here, all his knowledge, encompassing human free choices without being subject to time. But he doesn't determine my choice. He knows and sets the whole universe according to his absolute knowledge, including what I have chosen in this space-time universe. According to my choice, he has established the order of the universe. So we have to make all this. So the sentence goes this. He determines the creation of space-time universe according to his absolute knowledge, encompassing the human free choice without himself being subject to time. That's my definition. But it can't be, it must be so. Any understanding goes against or contradicts or goes against this understanding and mixes up his absolute knowledge and determining the whole universe. We shouldn't mix up. So, do you remember we found we experienced some hard time to understand that. We said, be careful when you think of the existence of the universe. Usually, what we are accustomed with to see the existence of the universe within space. You know, the universe. No, there are how many apartments, buildings, such and such. We say how many yildiz, how many stars, and how many galaxies there are, right? We immediately jump into space, which is quite normal. That's how we practically live in this world. So when we start thinking about the time dimension, yesterday, today, tomorrow, last week, last season, you know, the winter was horrible, but God forbid, but how we speak. So the summer was so hot, etc. But oh God, we are you know, approaching the fall. I'm waiting for the beautiful fall months, so that I will see the beautiful trees. You know, the different colors change, different beautiful, attractive colors of the leaves, etc. Now I say, the universe is not static. The universe does not consist of space only. It has, according to me, time dimension, right? So when I speak like this, I said, okay, this is correct for me because I am within the universe. So I am just observing only one slice of existence at a time. We studied that. One slice of existence at a time, but through my memory, through my imaginations, which I have been given, I give the different shades of existence, but shades of existence, not real existence for me, tomorrow, yesterday. But how about the Creator? When I speak of the Creator, I have to speak without time and space limitation. It means from the beginning of the existence of this universe to the end, whatever it is, I don't have to calculate the years, anything. I have to say billions, or 1 day or 1 year, doesn't matter. From the beginning to the end, from my perspective, of the universe is determined by my Creator. When? There's a slippery question. When? Not when. No when. Absolute. When we jump into the realm of existence of absolute, we cannot say when. Exists at once. We talked about this. We studied that. Why? It is necessary because who determined the universe is the one who is not subject to space and time, so he is absolute. So what it means, he determines. Finish. Period. What does it determine? Space-time universe includes me in it and my choices in it at once. His determination is at once. Oh, I thought this man is going to chase us out. Okay.
Dr. Ali, what exactly is the definition of determined in this? Because there is the divine determination piece, but then there's also the choice that we talked about a little bit last time. And so I think that, like, I haven't really studied this subject that much, but people really have an issue. It's like get very passionate about like this choice versus destiny sort of thing, and I'm interested to hear what the definition of determination means. Determines means for us in the existence of any object in this universe, the way they exist demonstrates to me, to my observation, speaking from my perspective, if you are careful about it, in order to explain the existence of this object, I have to
understand and confirm that a free will is absolutely necessary. A free choice has decided to for this object to come into existence. When I say a free choice, I am referring to the creator. When I refer to the creator, I am referring to the absolute. So this determination, it means a decisive free will to make the things come into existence, to decide the things to come into existence. So this determination is not I am here that the glasses are here, I am going to take the glass or not. He determines this. No, he absolute determined the whole universe, including the stars, the galaxies, the mountains, and the atoms, everything, and me and my choice. We said my choice is known to him absolutely. So let's see, speaking from our perspective, he doesn't determine my free choice. He determines the whole universe, includes in it my free will. Because who gave you your eyes? Whoever created the universe. Who gave you your taste of your taste ability to your tongue? Then you taste it and you like it. The one who created. Who gave you the free will to choose freely? The one who created you. So your free will to be used freely is given to you by your creator. So he created it, and if you like, he respects, but this is a problematic sentence, but we understand, he respects his creation. Because he gave me the free will, said, Ali, use, you're free, yep, and responsible for your choice. And he knows what am I going to choose, accordingly establishes the whole universe. So if somebody takes a picture of the universe now and says that, let's say from the sky, satellite takes the picture, I am here sitting. So although I freely came here to sit, in the picture I am here sitting, this universe is created by God. I have chosen, he has created. He has given me the free choice. So this is the first step in understanding. We will study further and in detail the relationship between creator's absolute determination of the universe and human free will within this universe. So we have to bear in mind always that the universe is space-time together, exists, and for God there is no there is no past, after. So for God there is one universe, space and time together. So for God, I imagine that it exists. Now from the beginning of today's class, you said something. For me, for example, let's say the other side of the ocean is far. For me, tomorrow is in the past.
No,
It's in the future.
Yes.
For me, everything is mixed up. So yesterday is the past. Tomorrow is the future. For me, for the Creator, everything exists at once. So that's why we, although not precisely speaking correct, speak with the language God knows before, but this for us. In reality, this is problematic. God says, Allahu ya'lamu wa antum la ta'lamun. God knows you don't know. Look, general language. God knows you don't know. Yeah? So even in the Quranic language or in the scripture, the past tense is used. In the scripture, it never refers to the past. it is past for me, not for God. In the scripture, it refers to the hereafter, next creation for me. Next, I use next is for me. Be careful, for me. The paradise and hell, whatever, everything in the next creation. For me, it's next creation. But for God, the same. There's no time. So everything exists at God, for God at the same time, simultaneously. There is no past, there is no future. That's why some people find it problematic when they read the verse and says something in the hereafter uses past tense. Happened. Well, the hereafter didn't, not yet. It is yet to come. Why do you say happened?
For us.
Yeah, speaking to me. But for God, there's no time. It is sure. It means it is sure. Guaranteed. I decided. Yeah, with my free will. Yeah. So one thing, of course, you can ask the questions. But if it is related to divine determining subject and your problems, then we have a long way to go. We put just one leg into the subject, not the second leg is up still. So we haven't really decided. But I said from the beginning, you have your specific questions related to divine determining. Write it down. But if you have any question which is here on the screen, most welcome. So we cannot solve this any matter, any problem with related to divine determining from the beginning. We have to complete. For example, now we can easily speak about this because we have established the foundations up to this point. When I read this special note for me only, just to give you a taste of the future in our studies, how are we going to understand any matter, complicated matter, related to divine determination? But the foundations will show you that we will deal with this subject. Now, it is a hope. So, if you want to ask the questions, there was somebody. In general, I would say wait if it is not related to particular subject. Okay. So we have not many minutes left. Yes.
Can something that God determined change? I understand that to Him, everything is happening at the same time. But like when we say that we're praying for a situation to change, and He determines.
Yeah, you know, the sadaqah changes, etc.
Yeah.
You know, change. Take this word. Where did we use this word change? Creation. If you use this word change, for God, there's something confused, something missed out. So, within the universe, never forget this. Look at this universe is huge, and give it to its time dimension. From the beginning to the end, endlessly huge, all right? So, within this universe, my choices are free, and the universe has been established, including my free choices in it. According to me, for example, I want to go this way. I say, oh, there is something dangerous there. You know, there are some people there looking horrible, so I don't want to get mess up with my life. So go this way, you change. This way. But God doesn't change. Do you think the absolute changes His mind? Because the universe already exists from the beginning to the end. How can He change? It doesn't mean that He cannot change. He decided the universe to be as it is. We are going into the train. The train is going, but we are just looking through the window. So step by step or frame by frame, we are observing the slices of the creation at a time. at a time, at a time, at a time. So we are changing, not God is changing. So what he says, so let's say when you do some prayer, so what do you think God knew it or not? Absolutely, it is within God's knowledge. He knows that you would do it, and then you will change, you will pray, and then you will change your mind again. And so he knows all of them at once, absolute knowledge. Oh, sorry, yours, or yours, which one? I think your Ihab was there first.
Ladies first. Chivalry stands.
Oh, so I'm gonna go still? I said
We have not much time. Please go ahead.
In the Quran, Allah says, "Have my servants seen Jannatul Firdaus or Jahannam, and do my servants believe in them?" Because we haven't seen them, but they, as you said, they already exist. Everything is, because Allah is absolute. So I believe that there is hell and.
How do you believe? Let me say, because we have not much time.
Yes.
Do you believe in God?
Yes.
Have you seen him?
No.
Or how do you believe in something which you have not seen? So it
Because
means
I was created.
no, you experience the signs. You experience the signs of hell in unbelief. Right? So, because, for example, if you harm Ihab, of course, his wife will beat you up. so, do you feel uncomfortable? So, the result of your bad, in quote-unquote, action includes in it a sign. So you say, you know, my action gives me torture, pain. It means all my actions will end up with their own equals or rewards or pain. How do you say? Own
Rewards or
Results.
punishments.
whatever they deserve to be. Let's say there is a word for it, but I couldn't really get it. Whatever they are in Arabic, jaza. So it means whatever they deserve, good or bad, whatever. So you understand that the whole my life will end up with its own accord. Yeah. So that's obvious. So this is called in the scripture hell or paradise. Of course, not everybody gets the same degree. So according to, for example, if you just step on Ahab's foot, you say, I'm sorry, Ahab, it's all right. But if you go and slaughter him, I'm sorry, Ahab. No. You know, there's a difference. So according to my attitude, my perception of existence, etc., according to my treatment of my human qualities, the result will be different. Yeah? So we know that the reward or whatever we deserve to have will be all different. So categorically speaking, good ones, bad ones. The bad ones are under the category of hell, good ones are under the category of paradise. So every test you take, you and I take in the college, yeah, during the semester. So I get 60, 70, B minus, A mixed up, inshallah, not F. So at the end, average is there. You get the degree with a certain average. Yeah? GPA, they say, what is your GPA? They don't ask you for each thing. They say, what is your GPA? 3.4. It's not bad, not bad. But this is the result of all the previously taken tests. So what we are doing here, we are building up the level of degree of our, or the degree. Now, get ready. I think we have to stop.
I don't know. Maybe we can talk about it next time. But I think what the sister was asking about before was, and I also feel a bit confused, is what does determination mean exactly?
So the will of the absolute being, this gave existence to this. I don't know the will because I don't know absolute, but I know that it exists. So I know that this universe is a result of an absolute free choice. Everything is deliberately decided.
You see, that's the part that people have concerns about. Like, it was decided.
Yes, it is decided. What is decided?
Then where's my choice? If it was,
were you not here when I was
I was
reading the
here, but the part that confuses me is that in Arabic it's called qadr, and then here we say determination.
Taqdir. What do you mean by taqdir?
Where's the mapping between those two?
No. It is the qadr means miqdar, qadr means qudrat. They are coming from the same source.
That's what I'm saying. Where did determination come from?
What about the language? If you don't like the language, find out the language. But it must be an absolute. So we said, we just read it. God determines according to his knowledge, absolute knowledge, which includes my free will, free choice. That is the first step in understanding the subject of divine determining or qadr or whatever you call it. I don't know. If you don't like this translation, I don't say this is the best one. No, I'm the worst one among you as far as the language is concerned.
No, I understand what you have to say because I've heard a lot of people say that like we have no choice in what happens in our life and that God has already like decided what's going to happen. So I think that's like what, but maybe after we get more into the subject, then we can start to think about that.
People's sayings belong to people, not you.
Yeah.
So we said we have to leave our previous concepts because these concepts are, if not wrong, they are blurred. We don't know what they include in it. So these are, we have to renew. We have to renew. That's why we just put today one leg into the subject of divine determining. This is the 6th section. But it will be faster, hopefully. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Subhanaka la ilma lana illa ma 'allamtana innaka antal alimul hakim wa akhiru da'wahum and alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. بحرمة السر سورة الفاتحة. No, we can quickly pray now, inshallah. Somebody